The Confederacy of Independent Systems was the foe Sidious used to launch the Clone Wars, and the CIS essentially lost the war once its leaders were killed on Mustafar and their droid army was shut down. But what would have happened if the CIS joined the Empire? Now, when we say joined the Empire, I mean through more peaceful means. When the droid army was shut down, most of the worlds threw in the towel and surrendered to this new empire very quickly. However, some did attempt to fight back and launch resistance movements. However, in most cases, this didn't end very well for them. So, for this theory, we're going to say Sidious honours his deals with the Separatist leaders, and as opposed to killing them off, he gets them to sign a peace treaty. Now, what exactly this agreement would look like is difficult to speculate. Most likely, it would be the entirety of the CIS joins this new empire in exchange for minor succession that the Republic wouldn't grant, for example lowering the taxes on the wealthy business tycoons in exchange for lower costs being transferred to the empire. Now, many wouldn't be very happy at this agreement, particularly those poorer Outer Rim worlds who joined for equal rights, but without their armies and fleets etc, their opinions would be somewhat void. So now Sidious finds himself in a very odd position. He is essentially in control of both the CIS and the Republic army. He's a lot more powerful than he would have been, however, the entire basis for his empire has changed in a way. It's no longer the empire that slaughtered the Separatists and destroyed their armies. It's the empire that made peace, that made concessions. Now, debatably, this is very good for the general people of the galaxy. Generally, governments that solve their issues through words as opposed to war are a lot more popular. But what would Sidious do next? Any of the ex-CIS worlds that would show any resistance towards the Empire would likely be turned on by the droids as they were already there, and these worlds would now be subjugated. Straight away, this saves Sidious and his empire a lot of time. The Empire doesn't have to worry about fighting any of these minor skirmishes and trying to bring Imperial rule to any of the worlds, particularly those in the Outer Rim that were part of the CIS. Essentially, the entire galaxy is more or less handed to him on a platter. Now, from here, the Empire is leaps ahead of where it was in our timeline. It took the Imperials years to fully establish dominance, but with the CIS support, it could take months. Now, firstly, I think that the Empire would begin repairing the galaxy and its economy, but with an autocratic twist. Military governors, slavery, land seizing, etc. And these are all good things for the big companies, and all of those council members from the CIS would definitely benefit from them. The clones and droids would possibly be phased out as Sidious begins to remodel his military. With the plethora of resources gained from reuniting the galaxy, this would be a lot quicker, and he would very quickly begin to rebuild everything that the war had destroyed. Not only this, but Sidious now has access to people who are far better at their jobs than the military governors and generals who were appointed in our timeline. Many of the CIS council members and their entourages really were the best and brightest, and they would be incredibly useful if they were under the Imperials. So Sidious and his new empire essentially get a huge industrial boom, likely a more favourable view from the rest of the galaxy for ending the war peacefully, and they get control of almost the entirety of the galaxy. They could essentially be doing 2 decades worth of work in well under half the time. So from here, I think Sidious would do what in my opinion he always wanted to do with his empire, and that's expand. Now, it's somewhat unclear what Sidious's master plan is in canon anyways. However, it's easily speculated that he wanted to expand into the unknown regions and wild space, once his grasp on the known galaxy was assured. He'd take his new fleet and super battle stations, legions of new soldiers, and begin conquering new worlds. The Chiss, the Yuzong Vong, all would be too tempting a targets for this new empire. Ultimately, however, I believe that it would be looking like a far kinder empire. Well, at least one that doesn't always use military action as a first resort, which is an improvement. Since Sidious would have managed to end the war peacefully, it set somewhat as a precedent that peace is most useful, so potentially Sidious would be far more open to negotiation. This new empire would be far more advanced with the aid of the Separatists' resources, and avoid getting bogged down in small resistance movements and establishing control over conquered worlds. But what do you think would happen if the CIS surrendered to the Empire, and how successful do you think that it'd be? Thanks for watching, I do hope that you enjoyed. If so, please remember to like, comment, sub and share, as it's really appreciated and helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to tick the bell if you want to stay up to date on my latest videos, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter at TheLawGuy for regular updates. Thanks again for watching, I really do hope that you enjoyed this rethink, and I'll see you next time.